About the last time you watched a youngster explode onto the scene. 17 years old, raw, electric, the kind of player that makes you lean forward in your seat. Now think about where he is 3 years later. Loaned out, sent down, quietly forgotten. That's not bad luck. That's a system. And it's happening to hundreds of kids every single season, while the people running football smile for cameras and talk about developing the next generation. They're lying to you. Here's where it starts to unravel. Across England's top 4 professional tiers, over 1.5 million boys are involved in academy systems by their early teens. By the time they're 18, less than 1% will make a living from the game. Less than 1%. But the clubs keep recruiting, keep signing 9-year-olds to development centers, keep promising parents that their child is special. And the grassroots game, the Sunday leagues, the local parks, the community clubs that actually develop love for football, they're dying. Pitches are closing, volunteers are burning out. Councils are selling off green space faster than any government will admit. In the last decade, England alone has lost thousands of grass pitches that will never come back. The base of the pyramid is crumbling, and the top is too busy selling replica kits in Asia to notice. So who benefits from this? Follow the money. Big clubs benefit. Sign a talented 12-year-old, lock him into your academy, and you've either developed an asset or blocked a rival from having one. Either way, you win. Agents benefit. Youth players now have agents as young as 14. These agents collect fees on contracts, on loan deals, on transfers, even when the player never makes it. There's no risk for them. The risk lands entirely on the kid. FIFA and the national associations benefit. They collect levies on transfers. They run compliance programs that look good in press releases. They fund reports about player welfare that nobody reads. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended, just not for the players. And definitely not for the game. These aren't abstract numbers. These are real situations. Chelsea's academy has been one of the most expensive in world football to run, hundreds of millions invested over a decade. For years, their own academy graduates rarely featured in the first team. Players were loaned out season after season, sometimes never returning. Manchester City have signed players from across Africa, South America, and Asia, not always to play them, but to build global brand affinity in those markets. A player from Brazil in your academy sells shirts in São Paulo whether he plays or not. In Spain, La Masia, once the gold standard of youth development, now competes with academies that spend fortunes on recruitment rather than coaching. The craft of development is being replaced by the science of acquisition. And in England's lower leagues, clubs that used to feed talent into the pyramid are folding. Bury FC Macclesfield, Wigan, twice. These weren't fringe clubs. They were the backbone of the English game. Gone. Here's the moment that should stop you cold. A study tracking English academy players found that the psychological damage of being released, what the industry calls being let go, rivals the trauma of major life events. These are 16-year-olds who've built their entire identity around football. Who've sacrificed school, friendships, normal childhoods, and then one day a coach sits them down and tells them they're not good enough. No support structure, no exit plan, no transition program, just gone. And the club? They've already signed the next intake. The machine keeps moving. We are not developing footballers, we are consuming children, and calling it investment. There's something you can do. It won't fix the system overnight, but it changes how you see it. And that matters. It's called the informed fan lens. It's a simple shift in how you consume football. Instead of accepting the narrative clubs feed you, the academy graduate story, the homegrown hero headline, you start asking 3 questions. Where did this player actually develop? Who invested in them before the big club arrived? And what happened to the 50 kids who were released while this one made it? When you start asking those questions, the PR machine loses its grip on you. You stop celebrating academies as charity. You start seeing them as what they are. Here's how to apply the informed fan lens right now. Step 1. Next time your club announces a highly rated academy signing, look up where that kid actually played before. 90% of the time, a smaller club or a community program spotted him first. That club got nothing. Step 2. Follow lower league and non-league football, not because it's better football, but because that's where the real development still happens. Those managers, those coaches, those volunteers, they're the last people in football doing it for the right reasons. Step 3. Pressure your club. Fan ownership movements, supporter trusts, community share schemes. These exist. Join them. Fund them. Because the only way the bottom of the pyramid survives is if the fans at the top care enough to protect it. The system won't change from the boardroom. It never does. It changes when enough people refuse to be silent about it. Smart football fans already know this. They're the ones who remember the names of the players who got released, who follow the journeys of the ones who made it through non-league, through the lower divisions, through the system by sheer will rather than by being selected at age 9. They understand that the most authentic football on this planet isn't in the Champions League. It's on a Tuesday night in the third tier, under floodlights, in front of 300 people who actually know the players' names. You're not just a fan of a club, you're a fan of football, and football needs you to care about more than the top. But here's what I haven't told you yet. The collapse of youth football isn't just a grassroots problem. It's already affecting the quality of the professional game. And data from the last 5 years shows exactly how. The number of homegrown players reaching the top flight is declining. The number of clubs relying entirely on foreign recruitment is rising. And behind closed doors, several national associations are already modeling what happens when that trend continues for another decade. The picture they're looking at is not pretty. That story, we'll get into it next time. Because once you see those numbers, you'll understand why the people running this sport are very quietly starting to panic.